Welcome to my channel. So today we are going to solve the inverse Fourier transform problems. Okay. So what is mean by inverse Fourier transform? That is if you want to convert the frequency domain into again back the time domain signal, we are using the transform. It is called as a inverse Fourier transform. Okay. Fourier transform means the time domain signal x of t is converted into the frequency domain signal capital X of j omega. It is called as a Fourier transform. So the reverse process, frequency domain into time domain, it is called as a inverse Fourier transform. Okay. So now we are going to solve the two problems in this video. In the next video we will solve one more problem. Okay. So you see the question, find the inverse Fourier transform of the following. X of j omega equal to 1 for the modulus of omega is less than 2, 0 otherwise. Okay, this is the given thing. So if the x of j omega value is given, okay, x of j omega value is given for some limited omega value means we may use the inverse Fourier transform formula method. Okay. Then in the next problem, so we have to solve one more inverse Fourier transform problem. But in that problem, the limit, the omega limit is not given. Okay. Only x of j omega value, j omega, the polynomial is given. So for that problem, we have to use the partial fraction method. Okay. So in this inverse Fourier transform, two method is there. One is if the x of j omega is given for some range of omega means we have to use the formula method, or otherwise partial fraction method we may use. Okay. So what is this x of j omega? So you see, so this one we are going to convert into graph. Okay. So what is the x of j omega is constantly 1 for the frequency modulus of omega less than 2. What does it mean by modulus of omega less than 2 means the omega between -2 to +2. Okay, that is for the -2 frequency to +2 radian frequency, the x of j omega value is a constantly 1, 0 in the remaining case. Okay, this is said to be the modulus of x of j omega. Okay, so now using this we are going to find inverse Fourier transform. So already we know the inverse Fourier transform formula. So what is the inverse Fourier transform formula? The inverse Fourier transform of x of j omega, it can be written as small x of t. The small x of t equal to 1 by 2 pi integration over minus pi to pi x of j omega into e power j omega t d omega. This is the formula. So we are going to multiply the x of j omega with e power j omega t, and we have to integrate with respect to the variable omega for the limit -infinity to infinity, and we have to divide by 2 pi means this is the inverse Fourier transform formula. So in that formula we have to substitute the x of j omega value. So what is the x of j omega value? The x of j omega is constantly 1 for the omega between -2 to 2. For the remaining frequency, x of j omega is 0. So that's why the integration -infinity to infinity, it is restricted to -2 to 2. Okay, since -infinity to -1, the x of j omega is 0. Similarly, 2 to infinity, the x of j omega is 0. Only this interval the x of j omega is having the value 1. So that's why integration -2 to 2 x of j omega is 1 into e power j omega t d omega. Okay, that's all. So in this 1 by 2 pi, so if you are integrating e power j omega t, here we should note that here the integration with respect to the variable omega. In the Fourier transform integration, we are going to integrate with respect to variable t, time t. But here we are going to integrate with respect to variable omega. Okay, so this one you should note down. So if you are integrating e power j omega t with respect to omega, what is the answer? E power j omega t divided by jt. Okay, if you want to integrate with respect to t means here divided by j omega will come. But here we have to integrate with respect to the variable omega. So that's why divided by jt, j into t. Okay, while integrating omega, t is a constant. if you are integrating with respect to t, omega is a constant. Okay, with the limit minus 2 to 2. So you substitute the upper limit. So instead of omega, we have to put 2. So 1 divided by 2 pi. So this j into t, you just take it outside. Then e power j 2t. Instead of omega, you put 2. So e power j 2t minus, we have to substitute the lower limit, e power minus j 2t. Okay. Then here you see the structure, this 2j, okay, e power j 2t minus e power minus j 2t divided by 2j. It can be written as sine 2t. Okay, already you know the formula, you know, e power j theta minus e power minus j theta divided by 2j. It is a sine theta. So in the place of theta, which one is there? 2t is there. So that's why we can written as sine 2t divided by, what is the remaining thing is that pi t. So sine 2t divided by pi t. Okay. Then we may convert this sine structure into sinc. What is mean by sinc? The sinc x is equal to, so already you know the sinc format. Sinc of x is equal to sine pi x divided by pi x. Okay, sine pi x divided by pi x, we can written as a sinc x. So here sine pi, okay, that is in the place of x, 2t is there. Okay, in the place of x, 2t is there, pi is not there. So that's why in the angle, you just multiply and divide pi. Okay, and if you are making the rearrangement, so we will get the answer is that 2 divided by pi into sinc 2t. Okay, we can written as the sine pi x divided by pi x, we can written as a 2 by pi sinc 2t, or otherwise you may write this is the answer. Sine 2t divided by pi t is the inverse Fourier transform of the given signal. Okay, so this is also a correct answer. If you want to convert into sinc, this is also a correct answer. Okay, so this is the one problem. And one more problem. So find the inverse Fourier transform of following. X of j omega equal to 6 divided by omega squared plus 9. Okay, so you see this problem. So what is the difference between this problem and this first problem? In this first problem, the x of j omega value as a constant for some definite frequency or modulus of omega less than 2. Okay, if that is the frequency is given for one finite limit, means we may use this formula method. Okay, but here you see the omega value is not defined. Okay, just simply they are saying it as find inverse Fourier transform of x of j omega equal to 6 divided by omega squared plus 9. Here the omega value is not defined. Okay, over the range. So in that problem means we may use the partial fraction method. Okay, so in the Laplace transform, we solved the inverse Laplace transform problem, you know. In that case also the partial fraction method we may use. Okay, the same procedure only we are going to use. Okay, so in partial, before writing the partial fraction expansion, so first we have to factorize the denominator polynomial. So what is the denominator polynomial? Omega squared plus 9. So it is a one second order equation with respect to the variable omega. So this denominator polynomial we have to factorize. So if you are factorizing omega squared plus 9, we will get j omega plus 3 and j omega minus 3. Okay, so this equation, it can be split as j omega plus 3 and j omega minus 3. You just multiply these two things. If you are multiplying, we will get this answer. Okay, so minus, okay, one more thing, minus is there. So minus 6 divided by j omega plus 3 and j omega minus 3. Here j omega is a variable. Okay, j omega combinedly we have to take it as a Fourier variable. Okay, in Laplace transform, instead of this j omega, there will be a s is there. S is a variable. Here in Fourier transform, completely j into omega, you have to take it as a variable. Okay, so first you factorize, this is the thing. And after factorizing, in partial fraction expansion, okay, in partial fraction expansion, we have to write the above equation as like this. Okay, So here the two roots are there. So we have to split these two roots as some partial fraction coefficient a by the first root j omega plus 3. Then similarly b divided by j omega minus 3. And you just consider this is the equation number 1. Okay, this is the partial fraction expansion method. And in this, we have to find out the value of a and b. Okay, we have to find out the value of a and b. So in order to find out the value of a and b, so you just cross multiply. Okay, so what is this one? So if you are taking LCM, okay, LCM, we will get a into j omega minus 3, then b into j omega plus 3 divided by j omega plus 3, j omega minus 3. And in the left side x of j omega, what is the answer is there? Minus 6 divided by this is there. So this denominator, this side denominator cancelled. So that's why minus 6 is equal to a into j omega minus 3 plus b into j omega plus 3. Okay. Then now in that case, if so let j omega equal to minus 3, the first root. Okay. So you see, if that is here the two roots are there. What are the two roots? In the first thing, j omega equal to minus 3 is the one root. J omega equal to plus 3 is the another root. Okay. So first one we are considering the first root. Let the variable j omega equal to minus 3. If we are substituting this in the above equation, we will get the partial fraction coefficient a as a 1. Okay. And another one, let the second root, what is the second root? J omega equal to plus 3. So let j omega equal to plus 3. At that condition, the value b equal to, we will get minus 1. Okay. So the two partial fraction coefficient we calculated. Okay. Then we have to substitute this partial fraction coefficient a and b in this equation number 1. Okay. So if you are substituting instead of this a and b, we have to put 1 and minus 1. So x of j omega can be written as 1 by j omega plus 3 minus 1 by j omega minus 3. Okay. So now you see the x of j omega. The x of j omega is in the structure 1 by j omega plus a. Similarly, 1 by j omega minus a. Okay. So in the structure, if you are splitting means this is the partial fraction method. Okay. So after this step, we have to take inverse Fourier transform for the above equation. So if you are taking inverse Fourier transform for the above equation using the standard Fourier transform pair. What is the standard? That is already we solved so many problem in the Fourier transform. So this structure, you see this one, this is in the structure of 1 by a plus j omega. So which signal is having the Fourier transform answer 1 by j omega plus a e power minus a t u of t. Okay, so you know this problem we solved already, you know, the signal e power exponentially decaying signal e power minus a t u of t, the Fourier transform answer is that 1 by j omega plus a. So here this j x of j omega is in the structure like this. Okay. So using this standard Fourier transform pair, you just take a inverse Fourier transform for the above equation. So what is the inverse Fourier transform of capital X of j omega? It is simply written as x of t. Okay. Then equal to what is the inverse Fourier transform of the first term 1 by j omega plus 3 e power minus 3t u of t. That is in the place of a, which one is there? 3 is there. So e power minus 3t u of t. Okay. Then minus 1 by j omega minus 3. The signal, okay, this is the value, this is the Fourier transform of the signal e power 3t into u of minus t. Okay, so e power minus at u of t is having the Fourier transform 1 by a plus j omega. Similarly, e power at u of minus t problem is having the Fourier transform minus 1 by j omega minus a. Okay, or otherwise 1 by a minus j omega. So this is the answer. So finally, the inverse Fourier transform of our given x of j omega is e power minus 3t u of t plus e power 3t u of minus t. Okay. this is the thing. Okay, this is the second type of problem, inverse Fourier transform. Okay, if the frequency is not defined means we are that is this inverse Fourier transform formula we are not all going to use. So we may use the general method, partial fraction method we are going to use. Okay, in partial fraction, first thing we have to factorize the denominator polynomial. In the Fourier transform, j omega is a variable. Okay, then we have to, in partial fraction, we have to split that the second order function into addition of the single order function, and we have to find out the value of the partial fraction coefficient a and b, and we have to substitute the value of a and b in the above equation, and using the standard Fourier transform pair we have to find the answer means we will get the inverse Fourier transform. So the time domain signal we get. Okay, this is the thing. So in the next video we are going to solve one more inverse inverse Fourier transform problem. Okay, so thanks for watching my channel, and please subscribe my channel for more videos and keep watching. Thank you.